It's Friday. I am so glad to bring this week to a close. For my Jewish friends, Lashana Tova, Happy New Year, Rosh Hashanah. Glad to see you. While we're waiting on some people to join, let me throw the text on the screen real quick. Please go to coopedup.com and a little pop-up will pop up that you can sign up for my email newsletter. I've only sent one so far, so it's not going to be spammy, but it's just another way for me to stay in touch, in case Facebook changes something or it gets banned or whatever. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to own it. So a good way to stay in touch with y'all. Just go there, please. And then if you're on other social channels, most of my logins are I'm Cooped Up. Like on Instagram, that's it. If you'd like to know it, I'm just Cooper Koch there. And some other places. So yay. Okay, it looks like we got some people joined. Good to see y'all again. For my Jewish friends and for everybody, but especially my Jewish friends, happy Jewish New Year. Lashana Tova, Rosh Hashanah. It's a day of celebration. I think it started last night at sundown, didn't it? And then it goes all day today until sundown today. That's my understanding of how Jewish holidays work. I believe that is correct. So man, I get on and just kind of talk this much all day today. Suddenly I start getting all thinking I'm not drinking, so I'm still just drinking the water. I think I had a gallon of iced tea today, though. So I've got like a hummingbird in my chest at the moment. Oh! Fortunately, caffeine does not affect me in the way, like it doesn't affect my sleep or anything. Hey, Mama, good to see you. What was I going to talk about today? So there was something that happened yesterday that was very surprising to me. And it didn't only happen yesterday. It's just something that triggered a thought in my head yesterday. So yesterday I posted on my social that just because, just because you pretend it's gone doesn't mean it's gone or something to that effect, referring to COVID. Like just because you act like it's not around doesn't mean it's gone, right? So I had some friends, I've had some friends either say this directly to me or in the comments that I've seen them say, have had this sentiment, but someone directly said to me that they are not overly concerned because COVID affects populations of color more. That is what they said. And I was like, really? That's what you think? That's what you think. Okay. And I was like, okay, so let's unpack that real quick. Let's unpack that. It is true that the two highest zip codes in Dallas County are there's one in Fair Park, which is a predominantly black part of town, and then there's one in the 75211 zip code, which is randomly right next to us, which is a largely Hispanic neighborhood. So there's truth to that part. But you said it affects population of color more often, or like the reason not to, if you're white, that you can get away with it, right? That's just a new level of white privilege. I just don't get that. Because let's unpack that real quick. Maybe one of the reasons that the people living in those two zip codes, which are fairly poor zip codes, by the way, are getting it more often is, there are some cultural things. There are in the Hispanic culture of getting together, family meaning everything, like can't not go see your mama, can't have not have a party to celebrate a birthday or whatever. There is that. And it is true that most transmissions are now being tagged as it's not stranger danger. It's not grocery stores and all that kind of stuff as much. It is mostly between family and friends, right? But in those populations, in those population centers, those zip codes, a lot of those people live there, don't have the luxury that we have sitting in our ivory towers of working from home. They have jobs that they have to go to, right? They can't work from home. So they are just exposed to a lot more people. So stranger danger is they're on the front lines of it every day, right? And then they bring it home. This is where it goes off the rails for me, though. Now we got white people who are like, see, it doesn't affect us, who are then wanting to go out and just like be in the world, wanting to go to bars or wanting to go to restaurants or wanting to hang out and have parties and basically go back to work, do all of these things that are the reason why those certain population centers have greater amounts of COVID. So I'm like, okay. And it's also one of those, I don't mean to sound racist, but, and then they say something like that. And I'm like, hey, that's 100% racist. So don't say that. That's not a good thing to say. And that's the lecture portion of this. So my mom posted something to totally changing subjects. My mom posted something earlier today that I loved. It was a meme, and it said, I don't hold grudges. You just become irrelevant. That is my mantra down to like just the perfect letter, perfect punctuation, everything. I don't hold grudges. Like it is I have a complete inability to hold a grudge. And I think that that's good. It's good for the face and the stress and the anxiety and all that stuff. Also, I just don't stay mad. It's really hard for me to stay mad just generally, which I think is a wonderful trait to have. But then on the grudge thing, I'm like, I'm not wasted. What is it the saying? Like if you hold a grudge, it's like someone renting someone space in your brain for free or something like that. I had it in my brain a minute ago. Now I can't remember it. But basically, I'm like, I'm not going to waste energy on you at all. And you become irrelevant. I just take a big eraser to you. Let's start up here. Across the screen. Just gone. Just disappeared. I may see you and acknowledge your existence, but other than that, you're irrelevant to me. And my sister's the same way, and we get it from our mother. And I am happy for that. I get that from my mother. I get my fucked up sense of humor from my mother. I get my gorgeous bone structure, even though I look just like my dad. I get my normally blonde hair, originally blonde hair from my mother. A lot of good stuff. Get my arthritis from my mother too, though, unfortunately. What else was I going to talk about today? And Crystal saying, I love that, Cheryl. I know that it's a great thing she posted, right? I don't hold grudges. You just become irrelevant. It is so true. I love it. Love it. I did some research, by the way, on Jerry Harris. Wow, that's some crazy stuff. That's Jerry from the show Cheer, who has now been arrested. And I don't know if he was charged, but he was definitely arrested for production of child pornography. That's what they're saying now. So it's not just like solicitation of a minor and all of that. They're actually saying production of child pornography. And it's not like they're videoing, it's not like child porn like on a movie or something. It is the solicitation and the exchange of like these underage videos. His defense is he was a teenager at the time, and this person was also a teenager at the time. And that's where it gets kind of hinky, I think. But man, production of child pornography. And it carries something like a 15-year sentence. And my understanding is that if you go to jail, and again, I don't know shit about shit, but if you go to jail, supposedly if you go to jail on like kiddie porn charges or child abuse or spousal abuse charges, ooh, it is not good times for you. Not good times. So I don't know what's going to come of that, but y'all talked about it. Y'all put it in the comments and stuff a bunch of times this week, and I just hadn't had a chance to look it up, and I finally did. Yikes, Jerry, what did you get yourself into? Speaking of jail, Martha Stewart, everyone's favorite felon. There's always this funny thing that I see occasionally. It's like a picture of Martha and a picture of Snoop Dogg, and it said, one of these is a felon, the other one is Snoop Dogg, or something like that. It's weird to think about her as a convicted felon. She can't vote even. You can't vote if you're a convicted felon. At least not in some states. I don't think that's a federal law. I think that, so maybe in Connecticut where she lives, she can. But I know in Texas, for a long time you couldn't. I don't know if you still can't. And I think in Florida you can't. You lose your right to vote, which I don't agree with that. I think that once you're punished and your punishment is over with, you should stop being punished. That is my opinion. If you were supposed to continue being punished, then just keep punishing them. Like once it's over, right? Done. But anyway, Martha Stewart, the 79-year-old, 79, that woman, she is gorgeous for 79. If you follow her Instagram, it is bonkers. The stuff that she puts on there, like the thirst trap stuff, just like her in a bikini and all that stuff. And I don't know if she's had face work. She definitely uses a lot of face products. But she launched some new products. She launched a CBD line yesterday, the cannabis oils and all that kind of stuff. It's a 79-year-old, and they're all like fruit flavored. She calls it fruit plate, actually. And there's like supposedly really good flavors. And one of the things that I've read about her over the years, I love Oprah more, but I love Martha Stewart a lot too. I actually trust Martha Stewart and her brand stuff. I've read a lot about her, and the stuff that she endorses and that she puts her name on, she legit like tests it out, is like hardcore into it, to the point where it actually is a detriment to her company. Like people in her company, she is the bottleneck because she requires such quality control and testing that she genuinely likes it. I got mad respect for that. So she's come out with this, and it's a limited collection at first right now. So it is just like 3 flavors of gummies and then like 4 flavors of oils, I think is what I saw. I just looked at it real quick. But it didn't look like it. It looked like it was 7 things. Unlike the one, I just ordered one from, what's it called? Hempworks, I think is the name of the brand that I ordered from. The curcumin with their tablets or gels, soft gels with curcumin and CBD oil in them. That place has like, I don't know, it was like 50 different options to have mixed in with different things, all by itself, flavored, not flavored, all kinds of stuff. So, but it's interesting, and she's doing it, and she's like, I was reading an article about this on New York Times' website, just like right before I came live, that she eats like 20 of the gummies a day. And she's like, some people get kind of a high. You're not supposed to get a high, but like maybe a chill on a few of them. She eats 20 a day. You go, 79-year-old woman, almost 80-year-old. So she'll be 80 this year. Like that is just crazy to me. God, I hope I look that good when I'm 80. I bought CBD for the dog. Did I tell you all that yesterday? I can't remember. So I went. I'm turning into that one of those pet people. I never say I have fur babies. I hate that phrase. I am not we have pets, but they are not my children. They are not all of that. They are animals that I own, that I care for, and that I enjoy. I was raised in the country for much of my life, or in kind of that setting. And Pippa, who is our poodle, just is like a nervous wreck. Like she is just like neurotic about everything. And so when I was picking up the dog food, I think I did tell you about this, but when I was picking up the dog food, they had some CBD treats for the dogs. And so I picked them up. And I picked up the less, it was like 25 milligrams, or maybe it's 2. I don't know. It was something that started with the 2. You know, this is news-ish. But it was half. And then the other one is either 50 or 5. I can't remember what it was for the dogs. I didn't go that far with it, but I got them. And we've been getting them to her. I don't know if they work or not. I couldn't tell you yet because we haven't had her up the weekend. During the week, the dogs stay in their pen most of the time. They have a pen that's like the size of a bedroom. So they're A-okay in there. But yeah, see, who knew I would be talking about CBD? Like I said, I've never smoked a joint before. I smoked like 1 cigarette in my whole life. I drink too much, although right now I'm not. Boring. I did have a little bit of vodka last night. The day I had yesterday, I needed the edge taken off. Let me just put it that way. But it fucked up my sleep. So I could tell that I definitely sleep better when I don't drink. What else? Oh, I just saw that President Trump is promising that once the vaccine gets approved, there will be, what does it say? Enough vaccine for every American by April. He's going to command them to produce enough vaccine for every American by April. Yikes. I mean, that's really aggressive. I don't know if that's good or bad. I always, when I hear stuff like that though, and I think I've talked about this before too, it always takes me to that Will Smith movie, I Am Legend. Is that what it's called? I think that's the movie where he is like the lone survivor. They come up with a vaccine to cancer and they make it airborne. It's kind of, I think they just like crop dust major cities and such, and they didn't test it enough, and it turns like most of the population into zombies. Like zombies that only can come out at night as well, or live in shadows. And he and his kids or something were some of the only people that weren't they didn't get affected by it, so they had to escape. But then the daughter, or my wife and the kid got knocked out of a helicopter. It was all weird. But anyway, the whole basis of that movie is that it's about a vaccine gone wrong and that most people turn into zombies. I'm like, we'll let y'all go first. I am happy to stay in quarantine for the first round. And I know Crystal, who is watching, is a big top fan. Thank you, Crystal. Is actually testing out the vaccine right now. She's in the, what do they call it, clinical trials? I think that's what it's called. So thank you for your service to our country in medical science and all of that. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? TikTok. The TikTok, it is supposedly, unless this has changed in the last few moments, TikTok is going to be banned tomorrow from new downloads and updates on the App Store in Apple. I think it's just no, it's all app stores. It's a federal thing. It's not just an Apple thing; it's a federal thing. Like, wow. And I can tell you that Instagram is trying to jump on this hardcore because they are pushing that Reels product, which is kind of the same thing as TikTok. It doesn't work. It's a little clunkier though, but it is starting to infiltrate the Instagram feed. And I'm kind of annoyed by it, honestly, because it's just, I mean, the people who post a lot, you're seeing them a lot. And they're trying, you can tell that they're still tinkering with how it appears, because for a while it was like every third post was that. Now it's kind of appearing in like ribbons on it. But it'll be interesting to see. Instagram's is weird though. It's only 15, they only let you do 15 seconds, whereas TikTok lets you do a minute. And so 15 seconds, you can really only do a little bit about like weird, just a little dance or something. But for a minute, you can actually make it like informative, hilarious, storytelling, and all of that. So I think that TikTok is superior in that sense, that it is longer format, the 1 minute format. I think it's just so much better. You can just do, otherwise it's just people just being thirst traps and just being stupid. I mean, that is, Instagram knows that I am a gay man though, because it shows me hot guys with no shirts on, Oprah Winfrey, RuPaul's Drag Race, and crafts. Like that literally is like all the suggestions I see. Oh, and Aaron is finally getting paid for his content on TikTok. Really? Are you getting like ones and twos of dollars cents? Like how, I mean, I know you have a lot of followers, but I don't know how lucrative that is. I know that if you're on YouTube and you have like 100,000 views and 1,000 followers or something like that, which is hard to get on YouTube, that once you start, it's like you get like $1 for every 100,000 views or something. So it's not very lucrative. But I'm sorry for you that you got on board. It'll come back. I mean, if this Oracle thing plays out and they get it all figured out, it's so weird to me that Oracle is the one that's going to be their US partner, because that's like the nerdiest company ever. It's all business software. But yeah. Oh, you have earned, Aaron has earned $6.52. Do I need a loan? Now I know where to go. I only need $6.51 though, so thank you for the offer. Crystal is in the Moderna trials. She'll be a superwoman by October 5th. Is that when it ends? Is that when you know? And I guess in the trials, do some people get the legit shit and some people get the placebo, or is everyone just getting the real thing? Like, I'm curious about how that is. And Eric, thank you, Eric. I made a point to be home by 4:15 to watch your show and have a glass of wine. One of my third grade boys decided on wearing a shirt this afternoon, in this wearing a shirt to our afternoon science Zoom call, which was optional. Thank God for private chat. He got a shirt on fast. Oh, he decided not to wear a shirt. Oh, he decided that wearing a shirt was optional. Sorry, God. Maybe I need some wine so I can read. I know. And then Michelle is talking about sounding like Nazi Germany. Okay, so there's something also I did not write down that I wanted to talk about. This signing of the patriotic education that was put in last night. I guess he signed an executive order last night about this. And like this patriotic education, which on the surface for some people sounds like, hell yeah, we should be patriotic and all that stuff. Patriotism, I mean, we have a flag in front of our house. We put up flags for the major holidays, the patriotic holidays, all this stuff. I'm cool with saying the pledge, all that stuff. A lot of countries are really weirded out by that. Germany specifically, for obvious reasons. Nationalism is just not kind of their thing anymore, for good reason again. But when we're doing like patriotic education, that is just so First of all, it insinuates that we're not patriotic enough. I think that freedom of speech allows you to be as fucking patriotic as you want to be. You don't have to say the pledge if you don't want to. It should not be compulsory. You should not have to stand for the flag. It is not compulsory. That's freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and that's literally textbook freedom of speech. The government cannot punish you for something you say, do, act, whatever, unless it's actually illegal. So I don't know. That whole thought of patriotic education just gives me the oogs. Like that should be something that maybe is taught in the home, maybe taught by your family, taught in your community. I mean, generally, I think there are things in your school that you can do, but not like an actual curriculum and stuff. That just was so oogie and weird to me, and that does sound very much like a Fourth Reich is coming or something, which some people think. And Michelle has a point. He and his wife don't even know the Pledge of Allegiance. I've seen them mouthing it, and it's like, I don't think that's what you think it is. Is she a citizen now? I think she is. I think she got citizenship, and then I think her parents recently did. And your second vaccine is on. Crystal is talking about this vaccine trial she's in. Second vaccine is on the 5th. Could be a placebo, but I don't think so. My arm was sore, and I ran a low-grade fever, usual for me, for about 24 hours, same as after the flu. Eee. Well, good for you again. That is awesome. And she would have had. Oh, so Erica's saying she probably does actually know it because she would have had to learn it for a citizenship test. Have y'all seen these citizenship tests? By the way, when back in the 80s, we lived outside of this little town in Texas called Hallettsville, Texas, and we lived on a horse ranch, racehorses, and we were helping raise them and all that stuff. I had chores in the morning of feeding them and breaking the ice if it was frozen and all that. I was a country boy. I learned to drive on a tractor, actually. That was where I learned to drive. And I could probably still saddle a horse to this day if I just kind of had a little bit of a refresher. But one of the things that I learned there is that we had a family from Mexico that lived on our property as well. They lived in a trailer, really kind of at the back, kind of hidden away because they were not legal. And they were there, and this was the 80s. And then I think it was Reagan. Isn't he the one who did the amnesty program, the broad amnesty that allowed people who were here and could prove they were here for a long period of time and all that stuff? Alois was his name, by the way. And he had a son whose name I think was also Alois. I'm not sure. I was in the maybe 3rd or 4th grade. But I specifically remember when they applied for amnesty, they had to take a citizenship test. And the shit you have to learn on the citizenship test, and I think my in-laws probably had to take the same test because they became citizens in, I think, 2005 maybe? I can't remember. 2001, something like that. Since 2000, since we've been together, they became citizens. They're German. And the stuff that you have to answer, like you had to know the names of all of the colonies. You had to know all of what each of like the articles of the Constitution stand for, like what they say. You had to know like Christopher Columbus's ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. That honestly is the only reason I remember that fact is from them taking that test and helping them study for it. And then what else was there? It was like all kinds of like legal stuff, very, very deep civic stuff and like historical stuff. You had to know, obviously, the Pledge of Allegiance. You had to know, I think even like facts on like when like the Star Spangled Banner was written. I mean, it was really, really hard stuff. And then they became citizens and then they left. And good for them. Good for them. You know, I'm very pro-immigration being from South Texas. And I think our Texas economy requires them to be here. Eric is saying that Dolly's Christmas album comes out in 2 weeks. Yes, I think another single dropped this week. I think she dropped this week. I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. I haven't heard it, but I saw that was either coming or happened. This has just been one of those, as I said yesterday, shot out of a cannon weeks. Every day I wake up and it's just go. And I'm just hitting the target over and over again. Well, I'm hitting the target, but it's giving me a headache. Let's put it that way. So I cannot wait, though, for Dolly's Christmas album. I don't even have a CD player, though, so I'm going to have to download it because I don't even think we have a CD player in this house anymore. My car may be able to play CDs. I'm pretty sure it can. I just don't own any anymore. And I actually think I got rid of all of them. And we actually don't even have a DVD player in our house anymore. Isn't that weird? We have a Blu-ray player that is the, what's it called? Like the PlayStation or whatever can play Blu-rays. But other than that, we're all streaming and downloads and all that kind of stuff. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Happy Jewish New Year. Why white people think they can't get COVID. Yeesh. Not holding grudges. TikTok, Jerry Harris, rather. Not Jerry Lewis. Martha Stewart, CBD. Oh, weekend plans. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing this weekend. What? Real quick. Michelle is saying, what size jack do they use when they change RV tires? It is the size that they use to change their 18-wheeler tires. It is the same kind of tires that some 18-wheelers have. And actually, it turns out that we could not get them switched out today. That's why I had no problem getting on live. So we have to do it next week instead. They only had 3 of the tires that we needed, and we couldn't change out just 3. We needed to change out at least 4. It takes 6 tires, 2 in the front and 4 in the back, because they're like dually tires in the back, or duals, as Todd corrects me. He's like, you're so country calling them dually tires. That's what we called them as a kid. If you had a truck that had those 2 tires in the back on each side, it's called a dually. But yeah, so we're having to do it next week. Also found out that we're not actually off for Columbus Day after all. I think that's the case. I looked at the calendar again. I asked for confirmation. I've not gotten it yet, but I looked at the calendar again. We may still take it off. We're just ready to hit the open road again, just for a long weekend. But this weekend, what we're doing, one of the things that we're doing is we are wiping everything down in this fucking house. These kids are little slugs. Everything they touch is slimy. So the kitchen countertops, and our kitchen countertops are kind of like a brownish granite with lots of different patterns in it. And if stuff dries to it, you don't see it unless you actually rub your hand over it. And so I wipe stuff down, but I'm not always like scrubby wiping it down. I'm Windexing it or whatever, the granite spray. So I need to wipe all of that down because everything is just kind of like sticky. You lean up against something, because we don't have a housekeeper still. Planning to watch Home Edit on Netflix. It's kind of the Americanized Marie Kondo, supposedly, and I am excited about that because I love the Marie Kondo. Life-changing. Honestly, Marie Kondo was life-changing for me. And I hope Home Edit is equally. I've heard it is very, very good. And then Claire wants to order with her allowance because she has a green light card. A green light card is a little debit card for kids. She wants to order some fun face masks. That is something I never thought that I would actually be doing myself, and certainly not helping my child. Ordering some fun face masks that you can wear to school and to stores and in public. Yikes. But there's some cute stuff out there. People are getting real creative with it. And then I was also, I've already started looking at Christmas decorations. So I may start picking out the stuff I want to get for this year. I've been getting in my ads a lot of ads for Santa wearing a mask. But they're always from weird, bullshit drop ship from China sites. And so I'm looking for on Etsy and stuff. So if y'all have a good lead on that, anything kind of ironic for 2020 for a 2020 ornament, sign me up for it. Let me know if you see one. And that's it, I think. That is it. Hey, Ruth, good to see you. What else? I think that's all I got today. Man, I tell you, I always... Oh, and Peter is saying you need a drink to stop couch. I don't know what that means, but maybe go on the couch. I need to give you all a tour of my house. I promise that. I just need to clean it up. This is still a wreck in here. And it's Bolt Trash Week next week, so I could put a bunch of shit. This is the weekend here in Oak Cliff where I live that you put all your shit out on the curb for the trash to pick up, but all the other people come and pick it over. So you can literally put whatever out. And yeah, so that's what we're doing this weekend too. Purging and putting it out on the street. And Amy is saying that Amazon has ornaments that you can get personalized. I love that. And Dave is saying, who am I voting for? Who do you think? It is not the current president. And Michelle says, I need wine. I may break down this weekend. I have one cheat night, right? I have a cheat day. I can do that. I may run to the 7-Eleven. We got the Taj Mahal 7-Eleven down the street from us. If you were in Dallas, by the way, I know not all of you are, but if you're in Dallas and you want to see a fancy ass 7-Eleven that has even like self-serve smooth, like they make a smoothie in front of you, like this robot kind of thing does. It has a wine section. It's got all kinds of stuff. There's one at Sylvan and I-30, which is just like half a mile from my house. And it's like the Taj Mahal of 7-Elevens. It's a prototype, an international prototype store. It is amazing. Ryan is saying, I was going to get my U.S. citizenship, but then the events of the last 4 years changed my mind. Instead, I slapped my Canadian maple leaf on everything I own. Seriously, I don't know. I mean, Todd is dual national, and he still has a German passport that he carries when we travel, just in case he needs to, like if there's an incident and he needs to pull out the German passport instead of the American one, like hostage situation or something. And Dave wants you to give the USA one last try, Ryan, at least after November 3rd. I'm hopeful, but I was hopeful last time too, so we'll see. Everyone has to vote. Vote as if your country depends on it, okay? And honestly, I don't care who you vote for, just please fucking vote. But if you're voting for Trump, the election day is on November 5th, I think. I think that's the designated day for it. So make sure you show up that day instead. Alrighty, and it's National Cheeseburger Day. Crystal is reminding us, so to have a great, Weight Watchers, cheeseburger is 100% off limits. We're having turkey spaghetti with whole wheat pasta tonight, and Todd, because he's not eating carbs, is going to have it over zoodles, but I'm going to have it over whole wheat pasta, which has 0 points. So and the turkey has 0 points, and I think the Rouse spaghetti sauce that I used to mix it in, I think it's like 1 point or 2 points per serving. So I am set and good. So with that, I'm going to say bye. Enjoy, Jewish folks, enjoy the rest of the New Year's Day for you. As you said, what is it? Lashana Tova. I had to write it down. I have to look at it every time. It's my little cheat sheet over there on the screen. I got this one too. And for the rest of us, just stay away from people if you can. Wear a fucking mask everywhere you go. According to the CDC director, that is actually better than any vaccine that's going to come out. And just take care of yourselves. I love you. It is important to know that you are loved. I love that you watch this. This is my therapy, and I love you for that. And just be safe. And I'll see you on Monday at 4:15 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye. Love y'all.